Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about a serious topic, and I know I'm a little bit late on this topic, but I only record on the weekends, so shit happens. If you didn't hear, Nikki Phillipi and Dan Phillipi, her husband, are monsters, and we're going to talk about it today. Because while I'm late on this topic, I do think that the more people talking about this, the better, because I haven't seen too many people. Like, I've seen outrage on Twitter and online, but I haven't seen a lot of videos about it, and I think it's important because this whole situation is a hot ass mess, and what they did is not okay, and the way they presented it is not okay, and we just need to get in it. So before I get into this video, subscribe to my channel. Every Tuesday and Thursday I do commentary, makeup, curvy girl, whatever, whenever I want. I'm Kayla. Hi. Subscribe, it's fun. So to preface this video, I am not a dog person. I'm sorry. I have owned a dog before, and I did love her, but I'm a cat lady. Dogs don't really do it for me. Listen, I know how dog people feel about that, but I'm also not a mother or a children person. So like, I'm kind of coming into this unbiased. So if you don't know, Nikki Phillipi is a lifestyle YouTuber. She has been married to her husband, Dan, for like, I think like 15 years. I actually used to watch Nikki Phillipi's videos like back in the day. Like when she used to like collab with like Miss Glamorazzi and Tati and Fleur de Force, like back when they were the vibe. I unfollowed her like literally years ago. I hadn't thought of her until I saw this, and then I was like, oh, I used to follow that bitch. But apparently she's become an anti-vaxxer, anti-abortion, no, not anti-birth control, and an anti-masker. So, oh wait, she might be anti-mask, not anti-vax, but either way. She also like talked about like how vitamin C IVs like healed and cured her and her sister, and that they should be doing that for COVID. So like, really, we're on the right path here. So what happened was Nikki Phillipi posted an Instagram post that basically said they had to put down their dog Bowser. They have two dogs. She has a Yorkie named Zoe, and her husband's dog Bowser was a bull terrier, I believe. So they said they had to put down Bowser. He was 9 years old, and everyone was like, oh, what happened? Like, thinking that like, I may not be a dog person, but I am a cat lady, and I had a cat who was 23 years old, so I had to put her down about just over 3 years ago, and it was just like, I mean, she was 23. She was getting to, like, she was in pain. She couldn't make it to the bathroom anymore. Like, it was just like, she had kidney disease for like 5 years. This girl really hung in there, but she got to the end of her life and we had to put her down, and it was sad and crushing, but it was what you do at the end of a pet's life when you know that they're in pain. I remember taking her to the vet, and the vet was like, we can give her fluids to like make her feel a little bit better so you can have another night with her. And I was like, I don't need to do shit for me. This is about her, and if she's in pain, like, it's her time. That was a sidebar, sorry. So like, I'm a crazy pet lady. And what happened was, there was nothing wrong with Bowser. He was a perfectly healthy 9-year-old dog who apparently bit their son, and when you in the face. And so when you hear that, you're like, oh shit, a dog bit a child in the face. Like, your mind immediately goes to like blood and guts and stitches and like having your face ripped off. And like, I can also relate to that because actually when I was little, I was like skipping in an alleyway, and my mom was talking to this guy she knew who had a Rottweiler, and the Rottweiler lunged at me. And I remember being terrified of Rottweilers after that. I mean, it wasn't my dog. And the guy blamed me for skipping, but I was fine. And that's kind of the imagery you have of like this really violent, aggressive dog like trying to rip some kid's face off. But there is a big difference. I'm not a dog owner, but I know there's a big difference between a nip and a bite. Here's the thing. When you piss off animals, they give you a warning. Like, cats will hiss or growl or kind of swat at you. Like, my cats will swat with their nails and as like a get the fuck away from me, leave me alone. And dogs will do the same thing. They'll growl or they'll nip. Because like, let's be real, if this dog wanted to, he could have hurt the kid, but he didn't because he wasn't trying to do that. And they actually said in the video that it wasn't bad. The cut wasn't bad. And I'll talk about later how there was literally no visible scratch on the child. But so the cut wasn't bad. This dog lunged at their kid and they decided to murder it. So they put this dog down because he's an aggressive dog who tried to bite their son. But it turns out that the reason that the dog nipped at the son was because Bowser was eating and the kid tried to take food away from the dog, which is like rule number one of what not to do with a dog. And also they also posted a video, I don't know if I told you, they posted a video trying to explain it where they really came off very cold and detached. And while they got emotional a couple times, it really didn't, like they didn't connect. It felt very like nonchalant about murdering your animal. And in the video, they discussed that Logan, their child, has a history of like pestering this dog. And here's the thing, kids are annoying and they don't know how to treat animals. I might not have children, but I've always had cats and I've had kids come over to my house and like not be gentle with the cat and they get bit. Like I remember we were moving my best friend and her nephew got bit by her, either bit or scratched by her cat. And I remember my best friend's mom being like, oh my God, your cat scratched him. And I was like, okay, but what did he do to the cat? Because again, cats don't just scratch and bite people for no reason. It's because you did something and nobody in the surrounding area told you not to, and so you got a warning shot. And they talked a lot about how Logan would, apparently Logan pulled on this dog's ear so hard that his ear swelled up like cauliflower ear. And then also they talked about how he like would go and like go to the dog and start pestering him. The dog like wouldn't want to deal with it, so he'd get up and walk somewhere else, and then Logan would follow him there and do the same thing. And it's like, why are you not, first of all, like if you're going to have a dog, a big dog like this, and a child, you need to train them both how to coexist. You need to teach your child how to be gentle with the dog. I understand that he's a kid, he doesn't know any better, but that's your fault because you didn't teach him how to play nice with the dog. You didn't teach him that if Bowser gets up and leaves when he's playing with him, it means he doesn't want to play with you. You need to leave him alone. Why weren't you watching this more closely? Why did your kid get to the point where he's able to take food from the dog to get nipped at? Like, it very much seems like this poor dog was being pestered and was being annoyed and he didn't want to hurt this child, but he was just like giving him a warning to leave him alone. And they decided that that was reason enough to murder this dog. Like, I understand, like, I don't have children, but I also know that there are so many other options, because in this video, they also talk about how they almost had to put Bowser down 5 years ago. There was an incident. Apparently he has a history of aggression. She actually talks about how he was attacked when he was younger. And what's interesting here is when he was a puppy, he was attacked by her parents' bull terrier, which makes me feel like poor dog ownership and poor dog training runs in the family. Because he was attacked and then he became an aggressive dog. Apparently he's been aggressive with other dogs, and he like has food aggression and he can't be walked around other dogs. He gets too crazy, and it's just like, okay, if you guys knew about this issue 5 years ago, what did you do about it? Because they don't talk, like, there is dog training. Dog training exists. When you have a dog, you have to train it. This is why I don't have one. Cats are easier. Because when you have a dog, you have to train it. When they are exhibiting these aggressive behaviors, you need to teach them not to. You need to teach them how to deal with these behaviors. You clearly didn't teach your dog or help your dog rehab from this trauma he had as a puppy. You just like let the behaviors go until they got too bad and you murdered him because you're terrible dog parents. Like, I don't understand. Like, when they really talked about how like 5 years ago they almost had to put him down with it, it didn't end up happening. And then you knew you were having a child. At that point, wouldn't you start training your dog? It's not too late to train a dog, like, ever. And Bowser's only 9, so 5 years ago he would have been 4. Would have been the perfect time to train this dog and teach him how to coexist with other humans and other dogs. And also it would have made his life better in general, because he would have been able to, like, they basically said he was an outside dog that they had to keep inside because he couldn't be around other dogs. And it's just like, what kind of life is that for your animal? I don't care if he has a backyard. Dogs still like going for walks. I know this, and I don't have a dog. Like, it's just so bizarre that they really paint this picture about how they had to do this when there were so many other options that they did not explore. And you know they didn't explore it because if they had, they would have said it in this video so that you would have felt bad for them. But they didn't. They didn't bother training the dog. They didn't, like, so mind-blowing is that they are rich. These are rich people. She has like 1 million subscribers on YouTube. She's been on YouTube for years. Like, they're rich people. You could afford the best trainers in the world. You could afford to send your dog to training camp or do whatever, or have a trainer come to your house and train your dog, and you just didn't do it. You just watched this get progressively worse and worse, and then the dog nipped at your son and you blamed it on the dog when really it's all your fault. And then they talked about how they called the Humane Society, and the girl in the Humane Society was like, oh, you can't rehome the dog because he's been with you for so long, so your only option is to kill him. And like, here's the thing. If someone told me that, I would get a second opinion. I would get on Google. I would do my due diligence, but it just really feels like they were like, oh, well, shit, we can't rehome him, so we might as well just murder him. Because their story was that if they rehomed the dog, they would still be liable if he hurt someone else. But I've seen lots of people comment and say that like there's lots of shelters and rescues that will sign over the liability to themselves in order to save the dog's life. But they didn't do any research. They didn't do anything. They just had this fucking dog killed for doing something that's pretty natural to most dogs, for not teaching their child how to behave around this dog, and for not training their dog years ago when he apparently exhibited this aggressive behavior and you guys just decided it was fine. Like, what the actual fuck? Also, in the video, Dan Phillipi, who, this is his dog, he has had Bowser since he was 8 weeks old. He says that when Bowser bit his son, he wanted to take him outside and Old Yeller him, which is the sickest shit I've ever heard. And I could not believe even just the way his face looked when he said it. Like, also, who the fuck edited this video and thought, yeah, that's a good line we should keep in? Like, I can understand sick sense of humor and stuff sometimes, but it didn't feel like a joke. And also, if I was editing that video and I had said something like that, I would have definitely cut it out because it's so deranged. First of all, the reason that Old Yeller had to be taken outside and shot, if you paid attention, was because he had rabies and it was incurable and he was going to hurt people actually, not because he was a perfectly healthy dog who wasn't trained properly and nipped at a child who, by the way, didn't even have a scratch on him. Do you know how I know this? Do you know how I know this? Because Nikki and Dan did a photo shoot with this super aggressive, dangerous dog before they murdered it. And in one of the photos, Nikki is sitting down with her son in her lap and the dog right next to the son. This super violent, aggressive dog that has to be put down because he can't be trusted around this child is sitting right next to him, which shows me that, first of all, Logan's not traumatized by this at all. I think he probably just learned from, like, this is how people learn. I know it's not PC to say that, you know, the dog biting the kid teaches him, but I mean, that's how a lot of us millennials grew up. You learned by touching the hot stove and being like, oh shit, that's hot, I shouldn't touch that again. Like, that's how you learn. Maybe not the best way to learn, but if your parents aren't gonna teach you or your dog, that's a good way to learn, is you get nipped and you realize, oh shit, I shouldn't take food from the dog. But like, to sit this child next to this dog and do a photo shoot. This dog looks so happy in the pictures, and it's so fucking crushing to think that he just thought he was having a fun day and then his family just murdered him at the end of it after taking a photo shoot. Like, it's so fucked. These people are monsters. Like, how could you put down your dog for this? It's not like it's a recurring incident. They said like once 5 years ago he had an aggressive incident and now he nipped at their son again. And in the pictures, I looked at the kid's face and I couldn't see a scratch on him. So maybe he had like a little scratch on his face or something, but like you couldn't see anything. So I really think the dog was basically giving him a warning and the family killed the dog over this. It's just ridiculous. And like, I may not be a dog person, but I'm a crazy cat lady and my cats are basically my children. And if my cats ever like bit or scratched somebody, I know it's different because cats can't really like, they're not strong enough to really hurt somebody, but still I wouldn't murder my cat. And if I couldn't have my cat with me, I would 100% rehome that cat. There were just so many other options that they just did not explore, except for doing a photo shoot with this dog before you murdered him for no good fucking reason. Like, it's just disgusting. I am disgusted by this whole situation. Like, it's so fucked up. I don't know how someone could do that to a pet that they've had their entire life and just act so nonchalantly about it in the video. They're getting eaten alive online, and rightfully so, and I just wanted to make this video because I think that they deserve all of the hate they're getting for this, because murdering your, like, that was a helpless animal that relied on you, that loved you unconditionally, and that you took care of for its entire life, and you just murdered it for no good reason. You didn't try to rehome him. You didn't try to train him. You didn't try to fix it. You were just too fucking lazy to do anything, so you just put the dog down. Like, there were so many other options, and in this case, this dog should not have been put down. I know there's nothing you can do because the dog is now gone and there's no way to bring the dog back, but it's just like, fucked. And then at the end of the video, Nikki like has a list of things she doesn't want to forget about Bowser, and is like showing pictures of him and talking about all the great things about him. And in the video, they call him stuff like their gentle giant and their cloud angel and their angel, and it's like, okay, which is it? Is the dog Cujo, who can't be trusted? Or is it this super docile, gentle animal who has some behavioral issues that your lazy ass never tried to fix? Like, which one is it? Because it's pretty clear to me which one it is. It's pretty clear that this was just a nice, loving dog who was treated poorly. There's videos going around of them like holding Zoe up and shoving her in Bowser's face over and over again to annoy him. So it's just very clear to me that these people should not be pet owners. When you get a pet, it is your responsibility until that pet's death. And not when you decide to kill it, but when its life ends naturally. Not just because you are inconvenienced by this dog and now you want to put it down. It's absolutely disgusting, and I hope they never get another pet ever. I know they have a dog now. I know they have Zoe still, but I hope after that they never get another dog, because this is absolutely ridiculous. They're clearly terrible, lazy pet owners who didn't want to do the work. They had all the resources in the world to either train this dog or rehome this dog. She has 1 million subscribers. You don't think somebody would have taken that dog? And then she talks about liability. Like, bitch, you're rich. Get a fucking lawyer to draw up paperwork so that whoever you give the dog to signs a liability over. Like, it's not hard. It's really not that hard, but it's just clear to me they did absolutely no work. They did no research. They just decided this was their only option and went with it because they're lazy and awful. They're awful humans. And I hope that no one watches them. I hope they get deplatformed. Like, I'm done. I mean, I've never watched them. Who am I kidding? But I hope that their audience understands just how awful this is and doesn't believe the bullshit they're spewing about how they had to do this. There were so many other options and they chose not to take them, and that's fucked up. So that's all I have to say about that. I just wanted to make sure that as many people spoke about this as possible, because I think it's disgusting, and I think that that poor dog deserved a better owner and a better life, and if they would have just trained him or taught their child how to act around this dog, everything would have been different. But instead, they are lazy parents and lazy dog owners who didn't want to do jack shit, and so they decided to murder their dog and then have this morbid fucking photo shoot with this aggressive dog that is next to your child, totally casually. Everyone looks happy and smiling. Like, it's just, nothing adds up. It doesn't add up. Everything is fucked, and I hate them. So those are my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what you guys think if you've heard of the situation, if you are as enraged and disgusted as me. I can only imagine what the dog people think, because like, as a cat person, if this was a cat, I would probably be even more angry, and I'm pretty fucking angry. So thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.